that in our vulnerability, in our generosity, in the things that we have to give up, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's anger, whether it's our fear, whether it's pride, whether it's ego, whether it could be so many different things, family, that God is calling us to give up. And what I have seen in myself and others is that we let go of just a little bit. We're not really willing to release everything. And it's an indication we don't really trust God like we say we do. I don't meet a person. I'm like, do you trust God? Yeah, I trust him. But I don't want to give up the relationship. No. I'll just stop doing this. When they know God is calling them out of the relationship, but they are unwilling. They don't trust him enough. Because that don't sound good. That doesn't sound like we trust God. Like hypothetically speaking, I trust him, but to give up the relationship, I don't have another relationship to go to. And what am I gonna do? And what is it gonna be? And where's the next one coming from? And it's like, that's part of trusting God. And again, family, I want to be very clear. I have struggled in this area. This is not me speaking from a place of like, I've got it together, because that's not true. It's just not true. God has worked on me in this area, and I'm being very honest about an area that he just challenged me in. Like, okay, if I tell you to give, and if you get more, I need to be able to trust you that when I bless you with more, when I give you more, that I can trust you to do what I've called you to do and not hesitate and not second guess and not hoard it for yourself. I need to be able to trust you. And a lot of us, we want more and we're praying for more and we say we want these things, but God is like, how bad do you want it? And how much do you trust me? Do you actually trust me? If I look at your actions, if I see your day to day, how much do you invite me into your decision making? How much do you allow the principles that I set before you? How much do you allow that to guide what you decide to do? Do you really trust me? It sounds good to say you trust God. I'm saying that from experience, but very few people I meet really trust God. And I'm saying this for myself because God in this season has challenged me to trust him in areas that I've never trusted him in. Never. And y'all, it's been hard. There's been times, y'all, where I'm like, I feels like I'm breaking. I remember one point I was crying every single day and I was like, God, this feels like I'm breaking. And I heard that little voice inside me say, I'm building. Because guys, I was broken. I was so broken. So broken from past hurts and different walls that I had built up to protect myself. And God was like knocking those walls down. I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. But God was like, no. In order for me to bring you to where I'm taking you, I need for you to trust me. And trust me in these areas. Because the way you are right now, you're going to sabotage your promise. And when I started seeing that a lot of my actions, my reactivity was really just trauma influenced. It wasn't based on clarity. It wasn't based on purpose. It was based upon areas in my life that I'd been hurt in. And I'll be honest with you guys. I'm trusting God in areas I've never trusted him in before. Never. I've never trusted him in the areas I'm trusting him in now. I shared last week, I have my hands out. I surrender. Like I surrender all. I don't know exactly when or whatever. I know what God has told me, but he's shown, like, I surrender. And there was a moment this Sunday, y'all. I gotta share this story because it's very, very, it's like, it's crazy. So I go to church and my trainer's supposed to come with me to church on Sunday. He ends up canceling last minute. There's a point to the story. Hear me out. So he cancels last minute, and something tells me to bring my daughter to the service with me. Normally, I take her um, to children's church, and so I didn't this time, and that was fine. Let her draw, and I'm like, God, why do I have her in here? Because my baby is not like mature enough at this point to just sit and listen to a sermon. She's, whatever. So I natural instinct. I always take notes. I write down my notes, but I gave her the notepad. I started taking notes on my phone and just kind of adjusted accordingly. And so at the end of the service, I leave. I talk with a couple people that I know that I'm friends with, and the lady says to me, altar call. And I'm like, no, I'm good. And something inside me was like, go back. I'm like, okay. So I go back and I see a woman and like she's highlighted to me. As there's a bunch of people like altar call, but she's highlighted to me. So I go to her and she starts to pray. And I feel led to just bare my soul, essentially, because there's areas in my life that I'm struggling to believe God for. If I'm being completely honest, it's hard when you don't see it and you're like trying to believe for it. I'm just keeping it 100. Like, that faith walk is real, right? And I haven't been conditioned to walk in faith in certain areas of my life, so this is all very, very new to me, And so I'm not telling her the area, but I'm telling her the struggle. I'm telling her the feelings associated to the struggle. And, after she prays and she looks at me and she literally says the area that I'm struggling with. Like, she says, is it this? I'm like, I start to cry. I start to cry because it could have been like, I'm not giving enough specific details for her to know what area I'm talking about, right? So when she says it, I cry immediately because that is the area that God has been putting on me. And I'm like, I'm struggling to believe it. I'm being honest with you. I'm struggling. I'm like, God, I don't know. And I'm fighting with myself, but I have so many promptings. I have so many signs. I see so many things. And I'm like, I feel like I'm crazy. Like, I feel like I'm crazy, but I feel like without actually seeing it manifested in real life, I see it. Like, I feel it. I'm getting these signs and wonders that literally it don't make sense. I feel like I'm crazy. I don't know, like, but I feel like God is saying, like, so clearly, like, this is happening, like, and I'm like, okay. So when she says it, and she's like, no, God, that is God, and I'm like, but of course I'm at that point, I'm sharing, I like, and I'm not saying obviously that's still, protecting my some of the things about it, like the specifics about it, but I'm just like, just just sharing, like, I'm just sharing, and I'm like, I just don't want to be deceived. I just don't want to be deceived. I just don't want to be. And she's like, you're battling, and the reason why you're battling so hard is because you haven't accepted it. And I was like, you're right. I haven't accepted it. And I was like, it just feels like torment. Just going, and she's like, I haven't accepted it. It's like the enemy is using that to torment you while God is using that to encourage you. Like, he's putting it before you to show you, like, it's happening, and the enemy's using that very thing to discourage you. And y'all, it just really did something to my spirit because everything about the circumstance. Normally, I would go to Next Gym or have my daughter go to the where they have children's church. I would normally do that. If I did that, I wouldn't have stayed for the altar call. So God had already orchestrated my steps, like me listening to that little voice and just trusting him. Because at that point, I'm something, At that point, y'all, I had already experienced, after I had experienced a situation with the person that God has called me to give to, and I finally was able to move in obedience, and I felt so like, okay, God is in that, and it didn't look the way I wanted it to look. I wanted it to be like secret angel mission, and it didn't turn to secret angel mission because they all saw me, and I wanted to be anonymous, but that's besides the point. I did what God told me to do, and I was like, okay, I release it. I know the enemy's just trying to get me with making me feel discouraged because it didn't happen exactly the way I wanted it to, but that's fine. I did what God wanted me to do. That's all I'm required. I had peace about it. Then, another situation and another situation and another situation, y'all. It was like 5 situations in one day. I was like, I'm going to be faithful. I'm going to be faithful. I'm going to be obedient. I'm going to be obedient. And y'all, I've like literally been in this place of like, again, I'm not perfect. And this walk is not about me being perfect. It's about me being obedient. When God calls me to do something, do I do it? If he puts a prompting in my spirit to do something, do I do it? Do I do it? And I do. And I'm like getting to a place where I know it's him. I'm like, and it's getting faster, and the movements are coming. And that Sunday was just a testament to that, because the promptings were telling me to do things that in the moment didn't make sense to me, and it was against what I would normally do. But because I had gotten to a place of like, God, I surrender it. I surrender it. It doesn't make sense to me for my 6-year-old who's going to be 7 this year to go to service with me, because she's not going to, she's going to do what she do. But still, I was like, I am going to do it. I'm going to do what you call me to do. It does not have to make sense to me. And for some of you guys that are listening to me today, I need you to hear me very clearly. God doesn't have to make sense to you. A lot of us, what we do is we try to make sense of what God is saying or what he's doing. And he's talking to us in his way. And we're like, but God, I don't see it. And he's like, no, I need you to start trusting the spirit. I need you to start trusting the promptings. I need you to start trusting the ways that I speak to you, that you may not see it and you may not understand it, but I am developing you for something. And there's somebody on here that's watching me that is struggling with trusting God because you've been hurt, struggling with trusting God because you've been disappointed, struggling with trusting God because there's so many different things that are happening simultaneously, and you're feeling like you're crazy. But I'm here to tell you, you're not crazy. You're in great company. Abraham looked crazy. Noah looked crazy. David looked crazy. Joseph looked crazy. Elijah looked crazy. Elisha looked crazy. John the Baptist looked crazy. Paul looked crazy. Jesus looked crazy. Everybody in the Bible that was called to do something incredible looked crazy at some point or another. You're in great company. And I know how isolating that can feel, because you know that God is doing something. You feel it inside of you. You can see things shifting. You can see the trees moving a certain way, how the birds are coming to you. There's certain birds that come around, and you're like, there's a cardinal here. There's an eagle here. There's a falcon here. God is speaking to me through these numbers. I keep seeing this number and that number, and this means something to me. And you're like, but I don't have any real reason to based upon earthly or worldly realm. But family, I want you guys to know there's a realm that's more real than what we see. And sometimes we can be so hyper fixated on what we see, so hyper fixated on our inadequacies and what we actually have. And we can't handle this and we can't do that. And the enemy's really good about creating like this chaotic storm of shame and guilt and condemnation, and getting us to doubt, and making us really question what God is telling us. And we know what he's telling us, and we're sure of it. And it sounds crazy, but it's God. But in order to reach the place that God has you, family, is where I want to land the plane. Do you trust him? Not just with the things that are easy, but the things that stretch you a little bit.